Philippians 4:8 and 9 says there, finally, brothers, whatever things are true, whatever things are honest, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there is any praise, think on these things. Do those things which you have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, and the God of peace will be with you. I want to deal with one aspect. And you could throw in a whole bunch of these things here, but let me talk about this because it's huge. The internet, the news, the media, our phones, our TV, our computers, our tablets, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm sure there's stuff that I'm missing, can be one of our greatest enemies. And I know people will say, well, I need to know what's happening. I need to be informed. I need to know what JT did today. I need to know what Biden said today. Oh, you got to look at this. You wouldn't believe it. The Bible says whatever is true and honest and just. We do not realize how much what we feed our heads impacts our lives. We also do not realize how much these things that we see portrayed through all of these mediums are false, fake, or dishonest. I mean, is reality TV real? Oh, I want my life just to be like this reality TV star. No, you don't. You know all the drama they put on the television? It's so that you'll watch. Oh, I want to be like this influencer. It's phony. Because they're showing you only what they want you to see. People who promote the news and opinions and give you all the behind the scenes information, often it's twisted. Often there's hidden agendas. Even the right wing conservatives, who we think are right and good because they tell us what we want to hear, or show us how corrupt everybody else is, in many instances, they're just as corrupt. There's an agenda behind what they put out there. You know, a lot of it is because they put it out there because it's going to get them views, which equals money. Whatever is true and honest and just. How much of what we look at is true and honest and just? Whatever is pure and lovely. What about TV and movies and music and entertainment we partake of? You know, Christians will listen to music that is perverse and obscene and think it's okay. Or what about TV or movies that are filled with evil or sex? What would we call somebody who walked up to a window and watched a couple in bed, even lying in bed? What would we call that person? A creep? You and I would never do that, but we do it on the television. And you know what the excuse is of many Christians? I can handle it. I can handle listening to this music. I can handle watching this movie. I can handle all of these things. And yet behind the scenes, they struggle with their thought life. You and I are bombarded every day. Every time we go out, we're bombarded with stuff. There are things that we're bombarded with that you and I have no choice to view or to listen to or to partake of because it's thrown at us by our society. But listen, you and I have a choice what to turn on the television, what to put in our ears to listen to, what to get in behind or in front of our computers and to watch. That is our choice and responsibility. He said, think on these things, pure and lovely. Whatever is of good report, whatever is of virtue, whatever is praiseworthy, think on these things. Do you know why there's so much bad news? There's so much fear propagated in the media. There's so much evil. There's so much reality TV is all about what argument is going to come next. Do you know why? Because it gets attention and sells. We like to watch people, and when I say like we, I'm talking about society. We like to watch people engage in conflict, but it also manipulates. There's a great feature. I did post this one day. There's a great feature in social media. It's called mute or unfollow. People would would probably be very surprised at how many people I just mute, because I don't need the garbage filling up my head. I don't need to know about it all. I don't need to know what the devil's doing, because I want to know what God's doing. I said last week, last verse, or not quite the last verse, I guess. The last verse, 2 Corinthians 10, verse 5, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. Some Christians know more about the evil, know more about what the devil's doing, and is caught up with these idols and the knowledge of God and what he says, and obedience to him is left off to the side. There is a place today, and I'm telling you, there is a place today where Christians are going to have to just learn to shut off the media and look to Jesus. Paul closed off this passage in the last part of verse 8 and 9. He says there, in the last part of verse 9 or 8, he says, whatever, after he's listed out true, honest, just, pure, lovely, good report, of virtue, praiseworthy, he says, think on these things. And then he says, do the things which you have both learned and received and have heard and seen in me. So obviously this was something that Paul lived. And I realized that back in that day, it was he didn't deal with these things that we're dealing with in that sense, but he lived this principle. And what does he say? And the God of peace will be with you. The God of peace will be with you.